Okay, good morning, everybody. Today's date is, hold on. Today's date is, July 15th, 2021, and my name is Leslie Williams. Now, I don't really have the best lighting where I'm at right now, so I don't know how well this video is going to turn out. The goal of the reason why I'm making this video is because, it's getting to the point now to where I'm being heavily, massively targeted now, every day, practically 24/7, while I'm at wooded areas. The crime of gang stalking made me homeless intentionally from 4 apartments in Michigan and 1 in Tennessee. Now, the purpose of this video, so I'm literally being extremely heavily targeted every second of every minute of every hour throughout every second that I'm at wooded areas. But you should also know I'm also being massively targeted along my routes too, inside and outside of businesses. Now, what I'm going to do, before I continue with any dialogue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and position this, and I know I don't look my best, I apologize for that, but you see the technology that's being used on gang stalking victims, the reason why I don't have any, well, let's just put it to you this way, there's many victims on the internet right now, openly stating that they're losing their teeth because of being hit with electromagnetic weapons. Now, I want you to notate one thing right here. I've lost my upper teeth, and then when I went and got dentures, the perpetrators literally stole my dentures in Michigan. Now, take a look at my eyes right now, and watch this video through a phone, and as you're looking at my eyes, what you want to do is take snap screenshots. Okay, I'm gonna open them up really wide right now. Okay, and what you want to do, I gotta look forward. So what you want to do is you want to take screenshots of my eyes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to the left. I'm going to open them up wide. I'm going to look forward. Okay, I got to make sure that this is okay, so I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look to my left, and I'm going to look to my right. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to take snap screenshots of my eyes, okay, and you want to look for the outline. You want to look up for the outlines of the remote neural monitoring lens implants that are in my eyes, put there non-consensually. Now, what happens, and you should also pay attention to and look for any type of water sacs and eye fluid sac bubbles in the eyes that form on the eyes when the victim who has these non-consensual remote neural monitoring lens implants in their eyes, when they're hit with high levels of ultrasonic sound, when they're hit with high levels of electromagnetic weapons, what that does is that basically fries the brain and the face and every other part that they're attacking you with. I woke up this morning feeling like my brain had been cooked. Now you should also notate, and so what the eye fluid sacs and water sacs do, they form these little bubbles on the surface of the eyes, pushing the back part of the remote neural monitoring lens implants out, making them transparently visible, because what they are biofilm, light crystal nanodots that enable the perpetrators to literally use your own eyes as a visual surveillance tool. And they can also, it's also massively widely reported, there you go. Okay, it's also massively widely reported that they're using these, because the biofilm technology that's got the light crystal nanodots on them, it literally it's just like having a camera in your eyes. So they can, concerning what's reported, they can send, come here, baby. Hold on a second, my squirrel's here. Come here. Are you going to come here and see Mama? Oh, my little baby's here. Hold on a second. She's so cute. She's my little baby, see? Yeah. Come here, boo. See, they stay away from my, here. See, they stay, the birds and the squirrels, when I'm being heavily attacked, they won't even come around me. They stay over there. See my bird over there? She's waiting to be fed from afar. Ultrasonic sound bone conduction torture, the microwave hearing effect, that kind of stuff. Ultrasonic sound is used at airports to keep birds away. And I catch on my ultrasound detector app every day extremely high levels of ultrasonic sound at all wooded areas and along my routes, even when I'm walking down the street. Literally. All right, hold on a second. Sorry about the interruptions. Okay, so anyway, so what happens is when they're cooking your brain and your face and your throat and any other part of your body, your organs, but, reference to what makes the RNM eye lens implant transparently visible, since they're clear biofilm crystal light crystals that are, and what they are is that the light crystals themselves are like nanodots, and they are evenly paced along the biofilm itself. And then, so when you look at how cameras and TVs work, they work by sending images to you ever heard of pixels? It's the same concept. Okay, and so these light crystals, they are what receives the energy that is sent for the visual, so they can, it's literally a transmitter and receiver at the same time, okay? Because anything I see, these wild horse see, okay? Who are interfacing with it, literally. I mean, just research my statements. When you research remote neural monitoring, you're going to see its massive capabilities, where they can literally monitor you neurally remotely. Now, these biofilm light crystal nanodot light crystals that are spread evenly along the biofilm itself, it allows them, okay, which is why a lot of victims are claiming they're seeing magnetophosphorine, okay, when they close their eyes at night and go to sleep. And I can always tell when I'm being hit in real time with electromagnetic weapons, because all I got to friggin' do is close my eyes and then take 2 fingers and push on my eyes, and it's like a light show. It's a massive light show, because they're sending energy to the light, to this mechanism of the eyes, and what that does is that acts as an energy source, and so that is what enables them to, in part, I believe. Just research on the internet biofilm remote neural monitoring light crystals eye lens implants, and trust me, you'll find enough information to see them, how they're done. Now, so these light crystals is what enables them to send like pictures. I was going to say still frame pictures, but pictures and live video streams. So whatever is projected onto them is projected onto the back part of the remote neural monitoring eye lens implants, and then the imagery gets sent to the retina, to the optical nerve, to the visual cortex, and so therefore you see in your visual cortex what they're sending. And it's also used for torture, it's used for visual entrainment, it's used to trick victims into believing they're having certain thoughts in real time. Because if you look at how we compose our thoughts, I'll give you a fast example. So, say if you're a person who, on Friday afternoon after you get off work, and you go home and you go to use your dryer, okay? And so, while you're using your dryer, it stops working. And so you say to yourself, okay, this is the 10th time it's broke, so I'm going to have to go, all right, hold on. So I'm going to have to go to the store and buy a new dryer. Now, since it's Friday afternoon, you don't have to go back and work in until Monday. You might say to yourself, okay, well, I got at least the rest of today and a good portion of Saturday to look on the internet concerning the local store's websites, so I can see what type of dryers in their appliance sections have. So when you look at appliances on a website or in a newspaper or whatever, through a TV commercial, whatever, that becomes a visual memory. Now, since the person is having continued thoughts about, okay, I looked at 5 websites of places that sell dryers, I looked at the dryers themselves and scrutinized all the different information concerning them, price, warranty, and all that stuff. And then, so he did all that on Friday. So then on Saturday, he gets up and he makes breakfast and he says to himself, so I got to finish this review, this search concerning what I'm going to, what might be the best dryer for me to buy. Hold on a second. Sorry about all this. Okay. Now, when he goes to continue to do the research, and then he starts reviewing in his mind all the data that is connected to each place that he searched and the visual imagery of each dryer that he looked at, well, while he's thinking about which one to buy as he's reviewing in his mind what he looked at, those visual imageries of each dryer he looked at and the stores they're sold at flash back in your mind, because the mind is telling itself to search for all data connected to which dryer that he's reviewing that he looked at online. So your visual, what you see through your eyes becomes a visual memory. And then, so then when you go to review a thought, when you go to deliberate something based on whatever reason why that you're deliberating it, it could be something that's motivating you based on a need to get a dryer, so you're going to think to yourself, okay, just like when you're hungry and you say, okay, I got and you have an idea about what you want to eat. So then your mind reviews the places you went to that sold either that item or very similar items. Do I want to go to Taco Bell, or do I want to go to the Mexican restaurant up the street? So your brain is going to look for data, visual memories of what you had the last time you went there and how appealing it looks, so it can kind of nudge the mind to help make a decision concerning which one you're going to pick. So our visual memories play a big role in our thought composition. When you're composing a thought based on, let's just say, a need, your brain is going to sit back and say, okay, what information, when I'm deliberating how to make a choice in going to buy a dryer, your brain is going to recall all the information that's got stored in it pertaining to what you've seen, pertaining to each place that sells the dryers, okay, and how they look, their price range and everything. So say if he looks at 5 different websites of 5 different stores that sell dryers, and he looks at them, and then he sees the price and so on. Then the next day when he gets up and he says, okay, I still got to go get a dryer, so I gotta make a decision about which dryer I'm going to get and where I'm going to go. So then his mind is going to start, as he's thinking about it, he's thinking about his price range, what he can afford, and as he's thinking about it, those visual flashes of those visual memories will pop back in. Like, say if he says to himself, I can only afford $300 for a dryer, then his memory, because he's composing a thought, and then he's going to say to himself, okay, which dryer, okay, came that close to that price range? And so his mind's going to kick back that visual imagery of one specific place that sold a dryer for $289. And that visual memory is going to flash back into his mind as he's thinking these thoughts. Now, as he's thinking these thoughts, the visual memory is part of the thought because it's related to the subject matter of the thought. So when gang stalking victims, let me give you a great example of the neural control and visual control that these filthy whores have over gang stalking victims. Do you see this right here? This is the inside of my tent. I want to show you this as well for personal reasons as well. You can see my zipper is working. Oh, hold on a second. I gotta do something here. Okay, so you can see my zipper is working fine. Okay, it's getting a little darker now because I'm shutting it up, but it's zipping. Okay, all the way. Okay, you'll understand this in a second. And then it's got a second one that's just a net. Okay, and I'm showing to this for a reason. You'll understand in a second. Okay, so you're seeing this zipper is working fine. Okay, the net one and then the cover one. It's got 2 doors to it. Okay, you're seeing the cover one right now closing up. It's totally closed up. I'm now opening it up. Now go to Google and research how gang stalking crimes intentionally break zippers of victims' belongings, as well as, since this crime made me homeless, I heavily rely on my tent. Right? So if you leave your tent up during the day because you might not have time in the morning, okay, to take it down, or you might be too sick because they're massively targeting you, or it might be rain might be scheduled for today. No matter what compels you to leave the tent up, when you walk away from it and then turn back in case maybe you forgot something and you see it, or when you come back and you're approaching it, you're seeing your tent. Hold on a second, okay? Right? So they can, research remote neural monitoring, memory mapping, and memory stimulation. Okay, but you should also know that when you research gang stalking, remote neural monitoring, and artificial synthetic dreams, this is all related. So just trust me, you'll understand this in a minute. Okay, so when you research gang stalking and artificial electronic synthetic dreams, you're going to see that these little psycho rats. Hold on, I got a burp. Excuse me. You're going to see these little satanic rats have the ability to literally, what they have is extremely sophisticated visual software. and high definition, like you wouldn't believe. It's extremely, extremely sophisticated. Just like they can make a visual production and, of course, attach audio to it so that the audio coincides with the visual storyline of the visual production, just like when you see a movie. So check this out. They literally got software where they can take your physical representation, my physical representation, anybody's physical representation, how they look from head to toe, but they can also create physical representations of people that don't even exist. And then what they do is they can take anybody and multiple people's physical representation of how they look, like when you're walking towards a person and you see how they look from head to toe, okay? So they can take a physical representation of anybody and everybody and then put it within a created landscape. Like, you know how when you go to a shopping mall, let me light my cigarette here, hold on a second. You know how when you walk to a shopping mall, you park in a parking lot? Excuse me. Sorry, I'm just laughing at how I look. All right, hold on. So you know how like do you know how like when you go to a shopping mall and you arrive and you put your car in the parking lot, you park your car in the parking lot, and then you get out and you start walking towards the big plaza, okay? And so you see this big gigantic mall in front of you, right, with all these different stores all connected together to seemingly one building. Now, the reason why I said that is because what you're seeing is a landscape. And the building and how big it is right in front of you, and people coming and going, and cars pulling in and pulling out. They can literally create any visual production. Anything that you see, they can create. Literally. So the reason why I brought that up is because they can not only incorporate a person's physical representation into this sophisticated software, but they can also add backdrops of environments. Like when you go to a mall and you see that big old building and people coming and going and cars coming and going and so on. Well, they can literally create any physical environment and then incorporate anybody's physical imagery within the environment and then have it play out roles with audio, just like when you're watching a movie, literally. Then after they create a visual production, they literally, all you got to do is research this. This is going to blow your mind. In fact, this has even been exposed on national radio shows. Literally. It just turned me out. So, excuse me. So, just like watching a movie, that's how sophisticated they are. If you go to a movie theater and you watch a very well-made movie by a very, very well-made movie, okay, with big superstars in it, Hollywood superstars in it. And the reason why I bring that up is because if you got big Hollywood superstars in it, then you know that it's going to be usually a more high quality type of movie. Okay, which means that when you go into it, you're gonna see all the elaborate backdrops and graphics and everything in it. Well, that's literally the depth. That's literally the sophistication of the technology that these Wild Horse have. Literally, that they can literally take your physical representation and 20 other people's physical representation, put it within the graphic software that's got a bunch of landscape backdrops. Okay, and then have those physical representations interact with each other, okay, while you're in the backdrop, and then stream it into other backdrops in order to make it appear that maybe you're going from one place to another and that the people are following you. And most of these electronic artificial synthetic dreams are nothing but disgusting, depraved, demonic sick shit. People, and I'm sorry to be so graphic, but that includes you seeing people being raped, children being hurt, animals being hurt, your own physical body being raped, okay? Bestiality images, the whole fucking 9 yards. These people are absolutely depraved wild animals, literally. So there's literally videos online showing it being massively implicated that they can stream these visual productions onto these eye lens implants. It gets processed through the retina to the optical nerve to the visual cortex, which is how you then end up seeing it in your mind's eye. Okay, but they can also do this through just the plain use, from what I understand, concerning what the internet is exposing, through the plain view of remote neural monitoring. So if you're a gang stalking victim and you're made homeless and you put up your tent and then you leave to go about your day and you leave it up and then you come back to it, well then as you're approaching it, you're seeing it. So that's creating a visual memory. of your tent, what it looks like. Now, when you first put your tent up, before you put any covering on top of it to protect yourself from rain and stuff like that, you also saw what the tent looked like without the covering on it. Because after you put it up, you stood back and took a look at it. You'll understand this? So what this does, whenever a gang stalking victim who's got these remote neuromonitoring, non-consensual remote neuromonitoring lens implants in them, everything they see, these little fucking satanic whores record. Literally. Then they can take that visual imagery of what they see through your eyes and then put it into a monitor and then manipulate it in order to make it appear so they can take what your tent looks like without no covering on it, what it looks like brand after you put it up, and what it looks like brand new, okay? And then they can take that visual imagery because they're seeing you see it. And then they take that visual imagery of it and then they manipulate it to make it look like it's all damaged, and then send it back into the visual cortex of the victim as the victim is approaching the area in order to, and then as they're doing that, they can use voice to skull with voice morphing to make you think you're having an internal thought about the visual imagery you're seeing of your tent all damaged and messed up. Now, you think that's why they might actually do this to one of your tents on a prior date, because what they're trying to do is trick the mind into believing that, okay, am I going to have to face my tent being damaged again because you actually experienced that being intentionally done before. They damaged one of your tents before because they know that when you went back to it, you would see it damaged. Okay, so what they can do is when they're seeing your damaged tent in real time, they record that visual imagery of it. Plus, they can also just take a video picture of it after they damage it. And then when the victim's approaching their area where their tent's at, before they see their tent, they'll flash that visual imagery of the tent that they've damaged on a prior date, and then flash the visual imagery of your current tent all damaged, because they literally see what your tent looks like when it's fine. They then take that picture and put it into the visual production and then mash it all up so that it looks like it's all torn up. And then they'll flash that image into the gang stalking victim's visual cortex while simultaneously using voice to skull with voice morphing to make the victim think they're having an internal thought, okay, what am I going to face today? Am I going to face my tent being damaged today? Okay, is it going to be stolen? Is there going to be a trespass notice on it and all that, while the victim is seeing the visual imagery? And then what they do while they're doing this, what they're doing is they're trying to trick the victim into believing they're having a current thought of a concern because of prior experience. Okay? And this is how gang stalking creates neural loops. Because every time you reprocess something auditorily, something you hear or say to yourself, every time you process something visually, it creates an auditorial and visual entrained neural loop pathway. Absolutely. And if you had any emotions the day you discovered your tent all screwed up, okay, then that entrained pathway becomes attached to emotional clusters. Absolutely. Absolutely, sweethearts. So you then believe you're just having an in real time thought, because gang stalking intentionally lets you know every day that you're a continued victim of it. So if you are made homeless and you on several dates leave your tent up, well, they're recording every single fucking thing you're seeing, literally. Okay, so as they're recording everything that you see, they put it in the same sophisticated, okay, visual production technology, and then can do anything to that imagery, like making it appear that the tent's all slashed up and or broken. Okay, and then they'll flash it back into your mind as you're approaching your new area where your new tent's at. Okay, to make you think that, okay, is this what my tent's going to look like? Because I know these whores are capable of doing it because they did it to a prior tent, while they're flashing that visual imagery of what that tent looked like when you seen it damaged, because they recorded what you seen when you seen it damaged. Okay? So I don't know what my eyes look like to you right now, but the right eye, this one, is looking extremely, on my home screen, is, I have no doubt at all that this video is going to produce evidence of these RNMI lens implants, even if we only see them partially. Okay? So That in turn, every time they replay that back in the mind over and over and over again, that creates a visual entrained pathway and an auditory visual entrained pathway. Because as they're projecting it back into your visual cortex and or on the eye lens implant, which then gets transferred to the retina, to the optical nerve, to the visual cortex, they will also use simultaneous voice-to-skull with voice morphing to trick you into believing you're having your own in real-time thought concern about you possibly having to face another staged event of property destruction. Okay? Just like when you pull your car up in the garage when you get home and you get outside the car and you shut it and then you lock it, and then maybe as you're walking away from it you look back because maybe you're thinking to yourself, okay, did I forget something? Okay, and then you start walking back towards the car and then you remember you didn't, so then you go into the house and then you're looking for that item. Okay, and you can't find that item, so then that visual imagery will flash back into your mind. Did I leave it in the car? Because the mind knows that one of the last places you've seen it at was in the car. Okay, look at my eyes right now, especially this one. Take snap screenshots of that. Okay? Now, if you see any, when you take snap screenshots and then zoom in on them and you see any gooey stuff in the eye, that's because the eye fluid and water sacs and then the eye fluid and stuff, it's not allowed to leave the eye because it's trapped in the eye behind the R&M eye lens implant until they stop the targeting. And then what will happen is that the eye fluid and the water sacs will start to dissipate. The surface of the eye, the eyeball will start to relax, and then that gooey stuff will start to get into the corner of the eye, which is where it usually is when you're not being targeted. You should also notate that this whiteness up in here, and here, and here, and on the eyelids, it's believed that that's being done because if I come down with skin cancer, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. I also believe that there's something right here, right below my cheekbone, right before my jawbone. Right here, there's a bump right there. It's not a cyst, and it's not a cancer node. No. So anybody at any time can go to Google and research implants and gang stalking. Brain implants, eye lens implants, ear implants, EMG implants, which are musculatory system implants, stimulated responsive implants, bladder implants, bowel implants, nano implants, you name it, and gang stalking. Because here's one more fast thing that I'm going to tell you about before I let you go. It's reported that they're literally even injecting slivers of aluminum into the roof and implants into the roof of victims' mouths, in their gums, and then what they'll do is send directed energy to the implants and to the mouth region where they got these slivers of aluminum in, so that the aluminum conducts the energy in order to create cancer in the mouth. Same thing concerning the nose, the brain, and the ears, anything. Because they make massive amounts of money treating cancer. Fuck yeah, they do. Just research my statements, baby cakes and sweethearts. Now, the account you see this video through, I will eventually look. If you don't see any pasted links within the descriptions of this YouTube video, right after it's uploaded, just stay tuned to the account. Look at the videos that are already in the account and look at what's in their descriptions. See, because when I'm not being hit, this white stuff ain't usually here. Okay? Nor is it on the eyelids. Okay? And right now, look at that. Look how white that is. Okay? 95% of my eyebrows are gone, and 90% of my eyelashes are gone. Okay? Because this hair loss, I probably already got cancer. Oh, absolutely. Literally. So, in closing, because I only make videos that are 33 minutes long with this phone. I'm going to get into a little bit better light here. Okay, I'm going to look to the left, and I'm going to look to the right. Now, if you go to the hospital or doctor, like a hospital or medical clinic, and you even if you don't say anything about the lens implants, and you say, I'm having massive problems with my eyes, I'm having massive problems with my nose and my ears, they're already told, concerning what the internet's stating, even by private investigators who have researched and tried to assist gang stalking victims in finding implants. They're already told not to help the victim. They're already told not to acknowledge that the victim is being hit with electromagnetic weapons. They're already told to not find any implants. And it's also widely reported that medical records of gang stalking victims are being altered. All types of medical records, radiology reports, CAT scan, MRIs, fMRIs, the whole 9 yards. So who do you think's got the friggin' power to do that? Well, who's the main implicated satanic rats who are hosting this crime? All branches of the military, all intelligence agencies, state, county, and local police, DOD contractors. The DOD, the DIA, the NSA, and the CIA are the main 4 implicated intelligence agencies, but they're all involved. FBI, DHS, concerning what's reported online, concerning who's massively implicated to be hosting it, along with state, county, and local cops. These people are nothing but mass murdering animals, human trafficking whores, racketeering, illegal probate control scheming, raping animals. They're involved in every crime you can think of, and crimes that you would not even imagine. So extensively research, okay, gang stalking, electromagnetic weapons torture, directed energy weapons torture, ultrasonic sound bone conduction torture, voice to skull with voice morphine, remote neural monitoring. And everybody have a good day, because I got to get my day started, okay? I feel like total hell. I literally woke up feeling like my brain had been cooked. Literally. And I ain't afraid to say it. Oh, you should also know this crime defends itself by labeling gang stalking victims as being mentally ill. So I want you to know right now, I'm not a threat to myself or others. I'm not mentally ill in any way, shape, or form. I do not do drugs at all. I do not drink alcohol at all. The last time I drank alcohol was in 2012 when it was by myself. And it was just a couple small wine coolers. So, but you got to remember, gang stalking victims literally got to say this, because when you research how they're intentionally diagnosing gang stalking victims, okay, with mental illnesses that they do not have at all. That's being done in order to discredit the truth victims are telling. Who's going to believe a crazy person? How easy can you be discredited in court when the satanic rats in court try to make it look like they got a normal appearing reason to petition the court for your medical and mental records? Because they already know that those false diagnoses are on it. Let's see if I lose Social Security, social services benefits, and let's see if federal student loan starts demanding money from me. Have a good day, everybody.